Welcome back to another episode of Tay Chats. Today I'm enjoying a cocktail during my episode because the cats play today, so I gotta get a little head start. If you're having a cocktail too, great while you're listening to this. If not, go get one. Let's drink together. Cheers. So today's episode, it's definitely been something that I've been learning for a long time, and I finally feel like I have a good grip on it to definitely talk about it more. So I'm really excited to kind of give you my expertise in this area, and it's about red flags in friendships. We all have them. We all have friendships that, fail or they need to fail. And we all have friendships that are great. So let's kind of dive into that. Now, obviously, when I say that I've been working on this or learning this for a long period of time, genuinely it's because I'm in my 20s, okay? And in your 20s, you will meet and unmeet so many different people in your life. You will, get rid of past relationships. You will build new relationships that were better than the previous ones. And I think it's just such a crucial time in your life where you do really need to seed out those bad friendships. Now, in high school and in college, friendships definitely look a little bit different. I think because you see your friends every day and you see them during classes and school, it's a lot easier to maintain those. Sometimes you even live with your friends, and obviously that's a lot easier. You see them all the time. It's easy to build a relationship. The struggle comes in when you're post-grad, you're living in different cities, many miles away, and your friendship is really put to the test. It's no longer about, who you're hanging out with in the living room or who's coming into your bedroom to tell last night's funny story. It's more about, really building your support system, your support team. And my number one rule with all friends ever is having supportive friends. So how I learned this, you're probably asking. And I have so many notes here because I didn't want to miss anything. So if I'm looking down, purely because I've got a list of notes that I want to make sure that I get through. So like I said, at a point in my life where this is really prevalent and I finally feel like I have a good support team. I have, great friends. I've seeded out the bad ones. I've let go of relationships that don't really suit me or take up too much time. And I feel comfortable now talking about this because it's something of the past. And I think with friendships and red flags in friendships, when you're uncomfortable talking about it, it might mean you need to seed out someone or some people in your life still. And that's okay. I'm gonna talk about that. So in my perspective, I've had my fair share of ups and downs with friends, and we all have. There is a maturity level that comes with having friends in high school, in college, middle school even. That's very different than that maturity level that you have post-grad. And that maturity level is definitely, the blinds are pulled up right away and you can see, those friends for who they truly are. And I think it's important that, you take your friends now with a grain of salt. And I don't mean that in a hard way, keep being friends with everyone you're friends with and treat them like they're your best friends, but also, have a backbone. Something that I didn't have when I had all these friends is a backbone. And I'm not meaning that to be hard on myself or, just to beat myself down, but it's true. I always thought that everyone had the same heart as me, and that's just a fact. When I would give, I'd expect to get back, and it's not always the case. So I learned kind of early on that not everyone does have the same heart as you, and I kind of used that as a little bit of my backbone, but I also used it as an excuse for people. And you will realize a lot of times in your life that you will make more excuses for other people than you will on any other given time. Honestly, I made so many excuses for why, my friends weren't there for me during this time or why they didn't show up during this time. And the reality is, you shouldn't make excuses about the friends in your life, ever. So if you're doing that, that's already a no. So, with my expertise, these are just some tips of how I learned and kind of what to look for. What are these red flags that you should be looking for maybe right now or, maybe in the future when you do come to a point in your life where, you're not in college or high school anymore and these friendships are really put to the ultimate test. So we're gonna go through each one. Obviously there's many more, I'm sure, but these are honestly just ones that through the years, I've mentally jotted down and spent some time really gathering them so that I can read them off to you. So this is why I thought maybe everyone should have a cocktail, because it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. After I wrote all these out, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like, hell yeah, cheers. My life is finally in a place where A, I'm not making excuses for friends that, aren't there for me when I need them. B, this feels like a thing of the past. It doesn't make me sad anymore that there's people in my life like this, because there's not. All right, here we go. So the first one kind of goes hand in hand with the eggshell effect. Why I call it the eggshell effect is because you should never walk into a room or be in a room where you feel like you are walking on eggshells with another friend. I cannot stress this enough. The eggshell effect basically happens when another friend makes you feel uncomfortable and on eggshells with who you are or your actions. And I think it's really important that you take note of those people in the room that give the eggshell effect, because you should never feel nervous to walk into a room where your friends are. They're not your friends. You should never feel like you have to watch what you say in front of your friends, ever. You should be fully who you are, and you should never change how you dress and act. All things such should never be changed. If you ever feel like you're walking in a room where you're walking on eggshells, leave the room. It's just not worth it. The second one, and this one could be different for many people, because honestly, it's just something that I need in a friend, because it's something I give as a friend. And a lot of times you'll notice that about yourself, that what you give as a friend is typically what you need. A lot of friends will match this energy. I have a lot of friends who, I send gifts to. And it's not so they'll send me gifts back. It's purely because that's where my heart lies. I feel that, if I can give someone something in a surprising manner and let them know I love and care about them and I'm thinking about them, I hope in return, they're thinking and loving me in the same way. Doesn't mean in a gifting way, but it's more so the thought process behind it. So I know that can get a little bit confusing too, but it's just a love language and everyone has different ones. So try to match, your friends' love languages if you can. Most of the time you will notice that you and your friends will have very similar, if not the same love languages. And it's something that I've truly noticed myself. But the second one for me is being complimentary. This looks a little different than kind of support. And it's just something that I notice with myself. I'm very complimentary. You walk into the room and it's not fake or phony. It's true, authentic, compliments, which I think are very important. Don't say, don't take this like, oh my God, I'm not complimenting my friends enough. I'm just gonna tell her sweater's cute and it's not. Don't do that. That's fake. We don't want fake friends. But, find something to brighten someone's day. And this doesn't even have to be a friend. It can be a total stranger. But, with my friends, I definitely notice that, like anyone, everyone needs, an uplift, a little compliment here and there. So if their hair looks beautiful, I'm gonna tell them. If their lipstick looks great, I'm gonna tell them. If they're wearing the perfect shade of color that just matches their hair so well or compliments them, I'm going to tell them. I have had a lot of friends in my life where I felt like all I was doing was complimenting them. And it got to a point where I was over complimenting them because I was just trying to see if they'd ever compliment me at least once. And it became kind of a thing where I'd be looking in the mirror like, dang, like I even got a new haircut, or I got blonde in my hair and no one said anything. Is that sound artificial? I don't know, maybe. But, try to put that into perspective a little bit. If you are the friend like me who is, someone who's always giving compliments, if your friends aren't doing it even a little bit back, I kind of think that's a red flag, but take that as you will. The third one, this is separate from, giving compliments, but it's being supportive. And being supportive can look a lot different than just giving compliments. It can be, sending gifts to show someone, good luck on this test. It could be something as simple as a text message, just reaching out to show you care. I take everything to a minimal extent. If you gave me a hug and said, have a great day, I know this day is important to you, God bless, because you're an amazing friend. just figure out and, match where your friends' needs are, but also match where your needs are. Because like I said, most of the time, the kind of support you need is the support you should be giving out. And it hopefully will match, or your energy will match theirs, and vice versa. Number 4, mental exhaustion. If you leave anywhere from hanging out with your friends and you are mentally exhausted after, not a good relationship. Your brain should not be exhausted from, trying to fill the time with something to say or something to do. You should be relaxed. When I'm with my friends, I am the fullest version of myself ever. I'm kicked back, I'm, slouched down, I'm goofy, and I feel comfortable to be able to do or say what I want. And that's really important. So just make sure you're not mentally exhausted. If anything, you should leave hanging out with your friends feeling relaxed. Otherwise, your life is just becoming more complicated than it needs to be. There's tons of mental exhaustion out there in the world, especially, with career and other aspects of life. Don't make your friends part of it. Number 5, trying to figure them out. You should know your friends like the back of your hand. If you're constantly trying to figure them out, trying to think of what they're thinking or saying or what they're gonna do next, that's gonna lead into that mental exhaustion. So you shouldn't have to try to figure out your friends. That's not how it works. It should be kind of natural. Obviously, you're gonna take time to get to know them, but it's different than trying to figure them out. It shouldn't be a mystery, okay? Not at all. Number 6. This one I feel like I shouldn't even have to say, but it happens way more often than it should, even in your 20s. Leaving people out. I don't understand that one. We've all been victims of it, and we've all done it. Sure, I've done it to people before. I never thought twice about it, but as I've gotten older and I see it continue to happen, it sucks. It hurts. I've been there. And it's just so unnecessary. You will be around people that, intentionally want to leave people out. That's extremely toxic, A. But also, B, why do you even want to be around people that want to leave other people out? Because honestly, they're probably going to leave you out at some point too. So that's kind of like an easy one, but I think it's something that we should definitely be reminded of, even in, our early, mid, and late 20s, because it still happens, even to adults. Number 7, do they talk badly about other friends? If they do, trust me, babe, they're talking bad about you too. There's not a doubt in my mind. I would be very naive to think that, I can join in on a conversation or, feed into it. Never feed into it, A. Like big lesson to learn. Because even if you don't mean it, feeding into it is just playing into it, and it's not right and it's not cool. But just know, if they're talking bad about other people, they're talking bad about you. They don't care. They're gossipers, and that's it. And that'll carry with them throughout the rest of their life. So if you're okay with someone always talking behind your back, that's on you. Number 8. Again, one that I've recently learned. If the conversation is only about them. Some people talk more. Hey, I'm one of them. I talk a lot. But there are times when I have to, kind of reel it back in and be like, what's going on in my friend's life? What can I pull from them? What can I get them to say? What can I get them to talk about so that they know that I care about their present day too? If they only talk about themselves, even if you try to chime in and they don't let you, they don't care. Don't have friends that don't care. Number 9, make you feel uncomfortable about how you dress or look. I know this one sounds so weird, but it's something I learned. There were friends that I've had in my life that I felt I had to dress a certain way or dress down for. I know that sounds bad, and it sounds really weird to even say out loud. But if you're, looking at what your friend's wearing and saying, I'll match that, or I'll dress down a little bit so they don't, feel a certain way, or, she didn't do her hair or something, I'm not gonna do mine. Don't ever feel like you can't fully present yourself going out or, just being around the house as you want to, just because your friends aren't. Does that make sense? That was a little tricky, but just something I pulled together. And number 10, they always make you feel wrong. Even when you apologize, it's like you're totally wrong. And that kind of goes hand in hand with, are you always the one trying to apologize and make it right? Are you always being the better person? Because you don't need to be. I was raised that you should always be the bigger person. And while I do fully believe this, I do think there are situations where you don't need to be the bigger person by apologizing. Stop apologizing for things that you fully believe in. Don't ever say, I'm sorry that hurt you or offended you. That's not an apology either. So, be genuine with your apologies. Don't just apologize to be the bigger person. I think there's a huge difference. Sometimes it takes the bigger person to walk away from a friendship that no longer suits them. Sometimes it takes the bigger person to, instead of apologizing, just say, I understand we have different opinions on this. Let's move forward. Doesn't always have to be a sorry. And I think the key word, or just the key statement from all of this is, what do you get from this friendship and what do you give? You want to make sure those are balanced. If those are balanced, your relationship is great. The friendship rocks. If it's unbalanced, maybe there's something, someone can give a little more, someone can give a little less, whatever. Maybe there's a conversation to be had. If it's never equal, I don't think it's ever going to change. And there really are two ways to go about handling, friendships that are no longer alive, that no longer suit you. You can, slowly distance yourself, which I know is hard. Trust me, trying to distance myself from friends is the most difficult thing because I see the good in everyone. I don't believe someone really has bad intentions. I don't think anyone really does. It's just, I've learned to just see them as people that no longer suit what I need in my current life right now. And that's okay. So, maybe not texting them so much or calling them so much or using them as a guide so much is one way. I've done the whole have a conversation with them. You'll notice right away. If they want to work on it, maybe. If they don't, yeah, it's an awkward ending. I can tell you that for sure. But I've always been sad and I've always really hated losing people. I am my happiest self when there's a lot of people in the room, so I thought. But I started to realize I'm a lot happier of a person when the quality of people in the room exceed my expectations. When the quality of people in my room are people that I love to be around, people that make me smile, people that make me feel like I can be my full self at all times, people that don't make me question who I am or who I'm about to be, people that are supportive. You're gonna realize quite quickly, post-graduation, post-college, post-high school even, it's no longer about how many people you can fit on the couch. It's about who's gonna sit, across from you and have that meaningful, deep conversation that's gonna put you forward in the right direction, that's gonna continue into your life and grow with you, who's gonna be there and be your bridesmaids. I think a lot of times we think we have to fill these spaces for bridesmaids. When you're in middle school, high school, college, whatever, you kind of dream of that big day and, you always are thinking about, I think as girls, we think about the people that are gonna fill those spots. Stop trying to fill those spots, okay? Make sure your friends earn them. It's very, very important. And if you guys ever have any questions, I've been through it all. I've been through all the girl drama you can think of, I feel like. Nothing crazy, but just I've learned a lot. And so if there's ever anyone you want to talk to about it, I'm happy to talk about it. And I'm really just so happy that I even got to share these red flags with you. I'm sure there's so many more and probably more that you can teach me, but I am still learning. And these were just the top 10 that I thought could be really useful to someone. Live a good life, have great friends, drink good cocktails, and laugh. Bye guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Tay Chats. I hope that you have great friends. And if not, I'll be your friend. Cheers.